Hey, this is Sue, and we're going to go through some examples from 6.8. So 6.8 is about taking antiderivatives with a focus on using trig identities. It's not that there's new rules, just sort of another way of looking at it. So there's two warm-up problems. And problem number one is actually relatively straightforward. You might try to think, do I have a u substitution? Do I have an inside function? You'd have to have u as cosine, but there's no sine to be your du. And so that's just not going to work. What other options do you have? Well, you can rewrite it. One thing we have when we have a fraction is we often split up the fraction. So let's try that. So we can write this as, and this leads us to some relatively easy ways to simplify. Cosine cubed over cosine squared is cosine. 1 over cosine squared is secant squared. And these are both straightforward antiderivatives. The antiderivative of cosine is sine, and the antiderivative of secant squared is tangent. So that's number one. Number two also has some rewriting to do. There's a relationship, of course, between cosine and secant. We could rewrite the secant as a reciprocal of cosine. So you could just put the cosine on top instead of a secant on the bottom. Simplify. This is just secant itself. And this is one of the formulas we suggested you memorize. So those are some things you should already know how to do.